In this lecture, I am going to talk about structure and bonding of heavier element substituted ethylene derivatives. We know that the molecule ethylene in the form of, I am going to represent in very general formula ER2 ER2. If E is equal to carbon, R is equal to hydrogen, the name of the molecule is ethylene. In case if E is equal to silicon, R is equal to any organic group, then the name of the molecule is disilene. If E is equal to germanium, R is equal to again organic group, the name of the compound is digermine. Tin will be called as distannine. Lead called as diplumbine. So here now we have seen the name of the compounds. Ethylene, it has the compound between the two element carbon, that is between the two carbon it has one double bond. When you come from silicon, germanium, tin and lead, whether the compound have double bond or what type of bonding between the two elements, that we are going to discuss in this lecture. Before going to start that one, I want to talk about here double bond rule. This rule states that inability of an element of principal quantum number, inability of an element of principal quantum number n is greater than or equal to 3 to form multiple bonds between them. So when we come from the element, such as in case of the carbon group, carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead, especially when the principal quantum number greater than or equal to 3, from silicon onwards, that element will not form true double bond with the same element. That is the meaning of double bond rule. Why? Why was on what basis this rule came? It may be, I think, because when we move from carbon to silicon, silicon to germanium, the size of the atom is getting bigger. So automatically the size of the orbital also will get bigger. So it's very difficult to form a multiple bond between the same two elements. And also theoretically, when we move from carbon to silicon, silicon to germanium, the hybrid orbitals, I mean in all cases if we consider carbon, the carbon having sp2 hybrid orbitals. So sp2 hybrid orbitals and p orbitals of the concerned element, if we consider that one, that energy level difference is increasing from carbon to silicon. The energy level difference between hybrid orbital and p orbital is keep on increasing when we move from carbon to silicon, silicon to germanium, germanium to tin and tin to lead. That is the problem. That's why what happened, it's very difficult to form true double bond between them. Okay, so in this lecture we are going to compare. Just we can take a molecule of ethylene. Ethylene is a very well known stable molecule, sir. Unless otherwise, if it is exposed with any kind of initiator, that may be light or maybe thermal, this molecule will never undergo polymerization. But if it is exposed with any kind of heat or light, it will be immediately polymerized. Unless otherwise, if we didn't expose, so this molecule is highly stable molecules. So when you compare with substituents E with the silicon germanium, whether that molecule also stable molecule or not, that we are going to see in this lecture. Second one, ethylene has very interesting planar structure. It has very interesting planar structure because both two carbon atoms and 4 hydrogen atoms will be in the same plane. So it has planar structure. When we substituted heavy elements here, either it exists the same planar geometry or not. That also we are going to see now here. And the ethylene, the bond order for ethylene is very closer to 2. So when we substituted heavy element, what will happen there bond order? Is it increase or decrease? It's not possible to increase. How much is going to decrease? That we are going to see again in this lecture. The 3 questions will get answer from this lecture. And another interesting thing, when we are going to compare with the heavier elements, if you are taking an example of ER2, the stability or structure or bond order, whatever it is, it will highly depend upon 2 things. One is E. If E is silicon or germanium or tin and lead, because the size keep on increasing. When the size is increasing, the stabilization between the 2 atoms will decrease. So the stability of the molecule will highly depend upon the type of E atoms present in the molecule. Second one, instead only ethylene we have an example of hydrogen substituted carbon. But other than ethylene, the remaining all compounds have organic group. R is an organic group. What type of organic group? Normally which is attached with this element. Normally that R is a sterically bulky group. R is sterically bulky group. What does it mean, sterically bulky group? You can take an example of mesitylene. Mesitylene is a kind of sterically bulky group, and also we have another example which is CH. It is another example of sterically bulky group. So if you change R, maybe E is fixed, and if you are changing R, of course in that case also stability of the molecules as well as the structure of the molecules may change. In almost in all cases, when you have taken as an organic group, maybe selectively one, if you take mesitylene, maybe an example, when you change the E from silicon to lead, most of the cases the very common geometry is trans-bent geometry. Ethylene has planar geometry, but when we come from silicon to lead, especially when we come from germanium to lead, it has very common, the most common geometry is trans-bent geometry. Why this difference? Why not ethylene has planar geometry? Why if you substitute heavy elements, of course organic group will not play anything to change will not do any change for the structural change. But why when we go from silicon to germanium, especially germanium to tin and tin to lead, these 3 elements are giving trans-bent geometry? That answer I am going to give now. Let me see. First we will try to understand the bonding models of ethylene. Then let me go to the heavier element. Ethylene molecule has sp2 hybridized carbon center. So these two sp2 hybridized orbital was used for bonding with one less atomic orbital of hydrogen. And one, so it used carbon atom, sp2 hybridized carbon atom used two valence electrons, each one having one electron, and the remaining one electron will be in sp2 hybridized orbital, and another one more electron in p orbital of carbon. This one is p atomic orbital of carbon. This one sp2 hybrid atomic orbital. Okay, so this one overlapping with another one. So in this case what happened, this p orbital having each electron will undergo lateral overlap, resulting pi bond. Here side and side overlap to form sigma bond. So this one is the bonding model of methylene molecules, and we know that this two electron, one electron will be in sp2 hybridized orbital and another electron will be in p orbital. Why this happened? I mean, these two electrons exist in triplet state. This triplet state, because the energy difference between sp2 hybrid orbital and p orbital is almost same, and p orbital of carbon is almost same. That's why what happened, sp2 hybrid orbital energy and p orbital energy, these two are almost same. That's why one electron is there in sp2 hybrid orbital and another electron in p orbital in the form of triplet state, to form a pi bond between the lateral overlap, to form a pi bond. It's very clear that the electron was delocalized between the two carbon atoms. But when we compare with the carbon with the tin, what will happen? What changes we can expect? There will be a major changes. It is an R group. This also will be R group. Normally R means there will be an overlap of p orbitals, because it is a kind of carbon. Carbon was attached with the tin, so it should be a p orbitals. Okay, and another important thing, in this case, you can see here, in case of tin, have 4 electron, one used for R, another one used for again one more R group. The remaining 2 electrons are present in sp2 hybrid orbital. and there will be no electron in p atomic orbital of T. So here that is the very major difference between ethylene molecule and diastereomere. That's why the structure of ethylene and diastereomere has completely different structure. So because why this one is not, why it is in the form of singlet state? Each steam is in singlet state. Why? That means because we know that because the energy difference between sp2 hybrid orbital and p orbital of T is differed. These two have two different energy. So what happened? sp2 hybrid orbital have very lesser in energy and p orbital have very higher in energy. Because of these two have two different in energy, so what happened? Instead of going to be in a triplet state, for team case it is in the form of singlet state. So each team have a pair of electron in sp2 hybrid orbital. So result, what happened? There will be no bonding. Also no bonding. Why it has no bonding? Because of repulsive force. Because of repulsive force, these two will not involve in bonding, and so there will be no bonding in this way. If the bonding happen here, then diastereomere also should have ethylene molecule, but the bonding is not happening in the way happened with ethylene. So in case of diastereomere, the bonding is occurring in some little bit different way that I am going to draw in another bonding diagram. So this one will not happen. Okay. Okay, so the blue color line, whatever I have drawn, that is p orbitals, these two are p orbitals again, and the black color one represents sp2 hybrid orbitals. Again, here also it should have R. Here again it should have R. Okay. Now this one will be filled. Again, this also will be filled. Now this two team having sp2 hybrid orbital having a pair of electron. The next one team also have sp2 hybrid orbital having a pair of electron. You can see here sp2 hybrid orbital having a pair of electron, and the neighbor one is p atomic orbital. Neighbor team has p atomic orbitals. And again, this team having sp2 hybrid orbital having a pair of electron, the next neighbor team having the empty p atomic orbitals. So it's involving a kind of, just a kind of dative bond. This pair of electron is moving to empty p orbital. Again, this pair of electron is moving to empty p orbital. It's a kind of donor acceptor type bonding. Or we can tell more specifically, it's a kind of dative bond. And also it's a kind of, the interaction if you have taken means it's a kind of dipolar interaction. Dipolar interaction between sp2 hybrid orbital, sp2 hybrid and p atomic orbital of T. So I hope you understood what is the difference between the structure and the bonding of ethylene and in case of diastane. In case of diastane, it's not forming a stronger bond. It's a kind of very weaker bond, dipolar interaction. It's not a covalent bond. It's a kind of dipolar interaction. The electron pair which is present in the sp2 hybrid orbital is just moving. It's not a strong bond. And you just see the geometry. The geometry is very clear. It is looking like tin, you can see the geometry. How does it looks like? These two are and these two are trans to each other. So it will be called as trans, and it has the geometry of bent. So trans bent geometry. If you consider this one is your planarity, then this two will be deviated from the plane. This deviation from the plane will depend upon a type of R present with the tin atoms. So I already said that one. Here what is the difference between the bonding in ethylene as well as with the diastane? This bond is very weak. So that's why what happened? If you have taken a molecule of ER2 and ER2, this molecule in solution, if you dissolve this one in THF, if you dissolve means mostly it will go to R2E. If E is equal to silicon, the name of that compound is silylene. If E is equal to germanium, that is called germylene. E tin means stannylene. Pb means plumbylene. So when it can happen, that will depend upon a type of R group present in the E. Some cases, I already said that depending upon R, either it can go to dimer or monomer in solution state. Dimer or monomer. Okay, how do we know whether my compound will be in the dimer in solution or monomer in solution? That can be easily confirmed by electronic spectroscopy. So you need to take an electronic spectroscopy for that compound, whatever the compound you prepare, that just dissolve in tetrahydrofuran solvent, then just record on electronic spectroscopy. If you take an electronic spectroscopy, if you are getting a peak, that is due to NP transition. If a peak arises due to NP transition, then you can confirm that your compound has monomer in solution. In case if you are not getting any transition of NP, then you can confirm that your molecule exists as dimer in solution. What is the meaning of NP transition? You can see that one. Here the pair of electron is involved in dative bonding between the two E atoms. When you have come here, it is in the form of monomer. There is the presence of a pair of electron with the E. So this pair of electron can move to the next level of p atomic orbit of the element. So what happened? A transition can happen between unshared pair of electron, that means load pair of electron to next level orbital. That transition can happen only if there is a possibility of monomer in solution. If there is no monomer, NP transition will not occur, so you will not get any peak. So what happened? You can confirm that your compound exists as dimer in solution state. Of course, solid state can be confirmed easily by single crystal X-ray diffraction technique. From the once you recorded the single crystal X-ray diffraction technique, you can get the solid state structure. Solution state you can confirm by electronic spectroscopy. Okay. So now I already said that one stability of the compound will be differed by the type of presence of E as well as R. Some of the silicon containing compounds with R even exist as dimer in solution, because that will depend upon a type of R group. R group can play a role of stability of molecules as well as a bonding between the two elements. Okay. And also at the same time, most of the compounds, especially when you have taken carbon, the bond order is close to 2. But when you come from carbon to silicon, normally the bond order is approximately equal to between 1 to 2. Bond order will be between 1 to 2. That will depend upon type of R group. R group can decide what is the value exactly, but it will be around 1.4 most of the cases. Some cases even it is lesser than 1.4. Some cases people have reported 1.3, 1.2 like that. But none of them have true double bond, because that double bond rule is working now. So none of them have true double bond. Always the bond order is less than 1.5 around it, because silicon has E. If you put E is equal to silicon, then that has bond order approximately around approximately 1.4. That will be highly depend upon type of R. When you come to germanium, tin and lead, in almost all the cases bond order is close to 1. Bond order is not too far a molecule when you come from silicon to lead. Okay. I would like to, I think most of them I have discussed here. So I want to conclude this session. Ethylene is well stable molecule and it has a planar structure. Because planar structure means all the 6 atoms will be in the same plane. When you come to an heavy element such as, you can assume these 2 elements, the purple color ball is tin, then what happened? Each tin having 2 hybrid sp2 hybrid orbital having 2 organic group. This green color ball is organic group attached with tin. So sp2 hybrid orbitals are involving to bond with organic group. One more sp2 hybrid orbital which is present here for this tin, that sp2 hybrid orbital having a pair of electron. That pair of electron is moving to here. This one sp2 hybrid orbital having a pair of electron is moving to empty p orbital of neighbor tin. At the same time, sp2 hybrid orbital having a pair of electron with this tin is moving to empty p orbital of neighbor tin to form a V-dative bond. Whatever I have shown this one, it is just a p atomic orbital of tin. This one p atomic orbital, the opposite one is involved in bonding with the sp2 hybrid orbital. This lobe actually what happened? Just exists as such, it does not involve with any kind of hybrid orbital, just I have shown here. You can see the overall geometry. If you have just seen the overall geometry of the molecule, I mean the purple color ball, if you consider as a plane, these 2 atoms are above the plane of 2 purple balls, and at the same time these 2 organic group are below, or just exist below the plane of the molecule. If you consider this is the plane, this 2 will be below the plane. So that's why what happened? These molecules will be called as transbent geometry because of the weak. This bond is, I already said that this is very very weak bond because it's a kind of dipolar interaction. So this is a very weak bond. If you dissolve this compound in solution state, this bond will be broken and then it will exist as R2E. Okay, are you clear now? So this, when you dissolve this compound in solution, this bond is very weaker, so this will be cleaved and then you will get R2E. I mean stannine like compound, you will get it. That can be confirmed whether the compound is decomposed to monomer or not. That can be confirmed by electronic spectroscopy, because due to the very weak bond between these two compounds, none of the compound have true double bond. When you come from silicon to lead, the bond order is keep on decreasing, and then finally for lead such kind of molecules has the bond order is close to 1. And the value, the bond order as well as stability of the compound as well as the structure of the compound, all the three parameters are very very important, and that will depend upon a type of what type of R group attached with that element. Okay, so now I would like to give reference for this topic. You can, if you want to learn some more, please read this article, Chemical Reviews 99 3463. This article was written by Professor Philip P. Power. Okay. I hope you all of them enjoyed. Thank you.